All right, well, today we're talking about the power of commitment, the power of committing. And I want to read something very special to you. It's called commitment. And some of you may have heard this before. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manners of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And that's from written by W.H. Murray in A Scottish Himalayan Expedition. Would someone be willing to pass these out? I made copies for everyone. I want you all to be able to take this home with you. I used to put that on my wall, right by my desk. It's really a brilliant bit of truth. So the power of commitment. You all been committed to something. I know you have. We've all experienced it. We said, I'll be there. Okay, doctor, I'll be there. When you say, okay, I'll be there by 9:30, and you're there by 9:30, that was the power of commitment. That doesn't mean the doctor's going to see you at 9:30, as we well know. They don't share the same commitment that we do. I don't mean to diss doctors. It's just what came up as I make the rounds of many doctors these days. Pete Higby, God bless him. Pete Higby, who's left us now, one of our co-founders, was committed to something very special, that every child should be able to read. He taught as part of the Detroit Literacy Group, teaching reading to children in Detroit week after week for many, many years, up to the last few years. When we first started down in the Midtown area, across from the DIA, Pete would come. That was his second trip down every week. The first trip would be down to teach reading. This, a man who's 80 years old would come down into a Detroit school and teach every week for many years. EJ, a friend of mine who was an orphan without many prospects in life. He was committed to getting his education all the way through to his PhD. He says, I was committed. It was a long haul, and it was a joyful struggle. My friend Mark Foley was committed to being in the U.S. Congress, so much so that he ran several times for different offices and lost. But he never stopped being committed. He never stopped being, and he ended up being in the U.S., being elected to the U.S. Congress. He was in school with my brother. He was about 7 years behind me at Sacred Heart School in Lake Worth, Florida. Yeah. My brother wanted to pass the CPA exam after law school. He became committed to it. And that's bigger than a notion, that CPA exam. It has 6 parts, and many people pass 3 or 4 parts. My brother passed it the first time, all 6 parts. He was very, very committed to it. I have a commitment to being with family and friends for fun, but especially my family, in this new modern times, children and families are spread out across the world. I've got some family today in Japan visiting, and I've got some family in Nova Scotia visiting. And you all have met my little girl Tamsin. She's not with us today, but she's here. So some of my family lives in Brooklyn, some of my family lives in Florida, and some lives here. I'm committed to being with all my children and having fun with them. And so I went to Walloon Lake for about a week, last week. And Kent Lederer came and spoke. Kent is wonderful. Don't you like Kent? Isn't he great? Love it. What a loving, wonderful man. I know Lou Kirk is also committed to fun. Have you bought your tickets for Jamaica yet, Lou? But you will, though, won't you? Yeah. Lou spends February and March in Jamaica. He has a condo down there, and she's committed to taking good care of herself too. And that's important, very important. And you can count like a stopwatch. She will be there. She will be there. From our visioning, I gathered that I hope that each of you have a commitment to yourself as well, to take good care of yourself and to get away and to have fun. I know our friend Piano Man Mike has a commitment, goes up to the UP a couple of times this summer. And that's a good thing for yourself and for your family to do, to be able to take time away from the time of our work. From our visioning that we were doing back in Ferndale, we were doing regular visioning time. I gathered that there was a growing commitment that we meet in a lovelier spiritual setting. Not that that wasn't lovely, but we wanted to meet in a lovelier spiritual setting. And I saw that that was a commitment that the group had from the feedback we were getting during the meditations. And Providence moved quickly, it seems. Providence really moved quickly. It says here, considering all acts of initiative and creation, like creating a new place, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then Providence, with a capital P, moves too. And a whole stream of events issues from that decision. So you know what happened? I have this back condition. I've been seeing a doctor, and he's tried all kinds of different medications and shots and things, none of which seems to have be of much help. And he said, let's get some physical therapy. And I've tried physical therapy in the past, and it hasn't been terribly helpful. And I mentioned it to Deborah that I was going to be seeing a physical therapist. And Deborah said, oh, call this woman. She's very good. So I called that woman, and she couldn't see me. She didn't take the insurance I had. And she referred me to a woman named Lisa. And when I came to see Lisa, lo and behold, Lisa has her office right next door here. She meets in this next room from us. And when I came in, Lisa showed me around, and I walked in here and went, oh my goodness, look at this. I wonder if this isn't a beautiful place. I wonder what way we could meet here and have meditations and all. And then I began to take people over here and let's move here. And you know, bada bing, bada boom, it just happened like that. A whole manner of events came out of our commitment to be in something more spiritual and much lovelier. And I've driven by here 100 times in my life, never noticed it, never saw it. Sure, Joyce, yeah, you same thing. Who knew that this amazing room was here? Who knew that? Well, we're so blessed. And that's the power of commitment. In Job it says, we discussed this a few months ago, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Thou shalt decree it like I'm committed. I will be at the doctor's office at 9 o'clock. Or you can count on me, boss. I'll be there at 8:30 every Sunday or every Monday through Friday. I will be there. You can count on me. Absolutely. And keeping that commitment makes things happen in our lives. The major concern that most of us had in my seminary class was how in the world would we be able to write a talk every week? We had all written at least one talk and given it at our home spiritual centers or churches. But one every week? We knew what went into writing a talk. We couldn't imagine doing one every week. But it turned out that commitment is the only way. When you promise your board of trustees, or in our case, the core council, that I'll be there every Sunday and give a talk, you do it. You do it. And it's amazing, but you get the ideas and you become a different person through the power of giving your word, through the power of the commitment that you make in life. I look at these guys who write books. There's an author I like an awful lot named Harlan Coben. Anyone know Harlan Coben? He's a little violent, but he's also very snappy and witty and funny. And I occasionally read him. He writes some great stuff. He was interviewed on the Today Show recently, and they noted that he turns out one novel every year, which is amazing. And they're good. There are some authors who turn out one every year, and they're trash. But Coben writes something every year, and it's good. And they asked him, how do you do that? He said, it's my job. It's my job. He was saying, I'm committed to doing it. It's what I do. My friend Sheila Gautreaux Lee is a licensed Unity teacher, and she published a book, Praying Through the Storm. And she says that she had struggled with that for some time, and then book did not happen until she got really committed. She said, I set a time by when I'd get it done, by when I'd get it to the publisher. And you can buy it at any of the Unity churches around. How about you? How about you? Do you have something that's lying around in your craft room, undone? You look at it and you say, someday I'm going to get to that. That's hesitancy. Oh, I've got so much in my. Anybody who's been in my house, you know, I've got so much. That's hesitancy, ineffectiveness. Like my book, I have a few ideas for books, and I make a few notes once in a while. No commitment to getting them written, but I play with them. And you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad if you don't get committed to it. Pick what you want to get committed to, checking inside what is your passion, what is really there for you to do, then get committed to it. It's not bad if you don't get committed. It's like wanting heat in winter and not turning on the furnace. You have this great power of commitment. If you don't do it, you just don't do it. You're not a bad person. Or it's like wanting some water and not turning on the faucet. If you get committed to having water, you just turn the faucet on. Bada bing, bada boom, you got water. It's amazing how that works. There's one fellow who'd been working on a model ship for years. Often he'd pull it out of the closet, he'd work on it for a while. He'd set it aside, forget about it, and he'd go through the closet. Oh yeah, there's that model ship. He pulled it out and he worked on it a while, and he'd set it aside when he got busy, whatever. His wife became pregnant with their first child, and he began to look around for a good gift that he could give for his son's birthday, his first birthday. And he saw that old dusty model ship in the closet, and he took it out, and he got himself committed, and he finished the thing in 3 days. 3 days. It had been kicking around for years. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, concerning all acts of initiative and creation, no matter what you're up to in life, from taking out the garbage on Wednesdays, from a commitment that you have to do that, or writing that paper, or writing a screenplay, or learning how to become a better parent, or learning how to become a better grandparent, to buying presents for your grandchildren and getting them to their homes on time, wherever those homes might be. Commitment makes a difference, even to the extent of waxing your car. I have a friend who's had this kind of it's an old car. It's an old Honda. He drives it. He's a principal of a school and drives it to school. I see him all the time driving it. It's kind of a dusty old thing, and he gets him around. Well, he's going to put up for sale, and he was out there yesterday. He and his wife waxing it. Wow, you would not believe what it looks like. He got committed to making it look good. But see, it's not bad that he didn't make it look good before. It's just what it was. But then, when he got committed to selling it, he got committed to making it really good to get the top dollar. He got committed, and wow, in about an hour, it looks like $1 million. It's fabulous. So there is one elementary truth, Murray wrote, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Providence moves to, and a whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. Take the case of John Kennedy. Some of us are old enough to remember when John Kennedy made a commitment that we would put a man on the moon within 10 years. We were all, what? What? Are you kidding? Wow, that's pretty cool. People would scratch their heads, and the scientists were like, what? They were really big what? They couldn't imagine. The alloys had not even been invented. They didn't have any clue how they would get the astronaut back into our atmosphere, because the thing would burn up on reentry. They hadn't even invented the metals that would make that possible. But Kennedy said, within 10 years, we're going to do that. He gave those instructions to NASA. We're going to do it. And we did it. Hugh Laurie, how many ever watched the show House? Yeah. Hugh Laurie said this. He said, it's a terrible thing, I think, in life to wait until you're ready. How many of us are waiting until we're ready to do something? You know, until I'm ready. I'm not really ready. I'm beyond my comfort zone. I don't think I'm going to have to read some more books first before I could do that, He said, it's a terrible thing, I think, in life to wait until you're ready. I have this feeling now that actually no one is ever ready to do anything, Laurie said. There's almost no such thing as ready. There's only now. And you may as well do it now. Generally speaking, now is as good a time as any. Isn't that great? Generally speaking, now is as good a time as any. There's only now. There's no such thing as ready. Isn't that great? I've heard so many people tell me, well, I want to go off and do that thing, but yes, I think it's really calls to me, but I'm not really ready to do it yet. The divine responds to your commitment. God, Allah, Jesus, Elohim, source energy, divine mind, it responds to your commitment. Commitment is very powerful, very, very powerful. We talk about the power of belief and the power of your thought, of your orchestrated, single-minded thought that turns into belief. Well, commitment is belief squared, or to the 10th power. No matter what, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, this shall happen. And that becomes your vibrational frequency. For those of you who study Abraham Hicks, that becomes your vibrational frequency. And that calls together through the law of attraction all those unforeseen circumstances and instances that you could not have, in people, in places. Again, referred to a physical therapist who happens to be in a building with a great place to meet. My goodness, what are the chances of that? Go through the areas of your life. What's your commitment to your health, in your career, your finances, your travel, your fun, your leisure? You know, some of us get really hooked into one thing, our career. We think that that's the most important thing, you know, because got to make the money, got to make the money. Well, there's such a thing as balance too, and really balancing out your life so that the rest of it feeds your career by honoring all parts of you. In 1972, Deborah Winger was thrown from the rear of a truck and had a near-death experience. You know Deborah Winger, the great actress? Afterwards, she almost died, but afterwards she quit her day job and went into acting full-time. She said, I swore never to go through another day doing what I don't like. Never to go through another day doing something I don't like to do. And she said, I started getting parts right and left. It was my commitment, she writes. My commitment was equal to all the possibilities. I don't consider that it was terrible that I had this horrible accident. Not at all. Let's have a conversation for a few minutes about the power of commitment. What have you noticed about the power of commitment in your life? Anything? Anybody want to share?
Well, we started a small mastermind group a couple weeks ago.
I'll do the fill down of your thing.
There are 4 of us, and about a month ago, I wrote down as my intention to sell my house that I haven't sold. And I wrote down I will sell my house in 2 weeks. And I ended up having 10 showings in 2 days and 2 offers in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's such a powerful thing. There are many more that have come true. So we keep journals, you know, and check off. And
So your house?
closing beginning of September.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's power of commitment. That's power of commitment. That's great. Anyone else that want to share about the power of commitment in your life? Thanks, Esther. Appreciate that. All right. Oh, Deborah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to share. I've always wanted to go to Costa Rica, and I've looked back over my notes, and I've seen, like, over the last 6 years, I've had these notes and gathered the information and looked on the internet and just sort of cruised through. And my girlfriend calls me up and said, I'm not spending another winter in Michigan. And I said, you want to go to Costa Rica? She said, yes. And I want to go for 2 months. I said, well, I don't think I could do 2 months. That's a long time away. And she said, no, I'm going for 2 months. And I thought about it for a couple days. I thought, well, why not? So I called her back up, said, okay, I'm going to go for 2 months. She said, okay, we're buying the tickets today. And so I went, okay. So we actually bought tickets that day. And it's like when I got those tickets, that was a commitment. Like there wasn't any more fuzzy stuff. And now it's actually planning the trip as opposed to just cruising through the internet and looking at the things I'd like to do in the future. Yeah.
When are you going?
January 7th is our flight.
That's great. That's commitment. Anyone else? One more share. Yeah.
Okay, so Jewel, by the way. Yeah, so my commitment has been for my transformation during this completion year, which in numerology I'm 27, so it's 2 + 7 = 9, and that's the number of completion. So since this is my first completion year that I actually knew was completion year, I'm getting complete everything, all my past from childhood on. And I really have seen where at this point I'm just about complete, and we're only in the 8th month, like, so I'll pretty much be done, and I'm really excited.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. Congratulations. Completion's a big thing. All right then, Michael, let's make some music here. Oh, Jeff, want to sing a song? Yeah, do it. Yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. I think Jeff is actually committed to it.
I decided not to commit to it.
I jumped so high I'd touch the clouds. I'd stretch my hands out to the sky. We danced with monsters through the night. I'm never gonna look back. I'm never gonna give it up. Please don't wake me now. And the best day of my life, and this is gonna be the best day of my life, And I held at the moon with friends, and then the sun came crashing in. But all the possibilities, no limits, just epiphanies. I'm never gonna look back. I'm never gonna give it up. Please don't wake me now. And it's gonna be the best day of my life, And this is gonna be the best day of my life, I hear it go